What's up, you guys? Wanted to step aside for a moment, and the only quiet place that I could find was sitting in my car. So that's where I am. I had someone reach out. I'm part of a number of ADHD support groups on Facebook, and I shared one of my videos venting about our experience that we had with our daughter and just some of the challenges and frustrations there. But she asked some really great questions, and I wanted to answer some of those. If this is your first time on the channel, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe and hit the little bell next to the subscribe button so that you don't miss any new content as it's released. So one of the questions that she asked was in regard to our decision to medicate. I actually don't like that word. I know that's what we're doing, but I don't like that word. She asked about our decision on putting our daughter on medication at such a young age. And really, what it came down to was we were trying to find something, a tool that would enable her to take the jumbled thoughts in her head and hone in and focus a little bit more. Because what we were running into was her attention was so all over the place that she would do things like run into traffic. A few years I was teaching voice lessons. Cora was hanging out with one of our dear closest friends, just hanging out while Daddy finished up some lessons, and I came outside and she wanted to play tag, so we played tag for a few minutes, and Cora ended up bolting straight towards open traffic on one of the busiest streets in Federal Way. I was at first calm. Cora, stop, don't go any further, and her attention was just all over the place. She didn't hear me at all. I caught up to her as she reached the edge of the curb and 3 trucks drove by. So what it came down to is, okay, we needed to find something that would enable her to think clearer and hear us, because she gets so hyperactive that she just won't hear us, period. We actually connected with a study that's taking place right now, and the study is on ADHD medication for kids her age. So we jumped in and immediately started seeing a difference. The best example that I can give you is when she'd sit down to draw pictures. So Cora and I are both artistic. We're very creative, as many ADHDers are. She would draw scribbles and lines, random colors all mashed together originally. And what we saw when she started on medication is all of a sudden she was able to focus her creativity and start drawing some pretty incredible things. So the first time we had her sit down, we actually did this as a trial. We said, okay, we're gonna have some art time. And she sat down before medication and drew some pictures. It was the same thing, scribbles, random indistinguishable shapes and mishmash of colors. After the medication kicked in, we had her sit down again, and without any prompting, she drew a family of robots. The square body, it looked like the Danger Will Robinson type of scenario. But she, from her own imagination, plucked that idea out of her head, put it onto paper in such a way that you could very distinctly tell what it was. And then she explained, this is the daddy robot, this is the mommy robot. So that was kind of a pivotal turning point for us, where we realized this will work. It's not the only piece of the puzzle, because no pill is a fix-all, nor should you rely on a pill to be the fix-all. When we saw how she's able to take all those screens in her head and turn a bunch of them off to the point where now she can focus her thoughts and her creativity and really thrive with that, it was pretty cool, pretty amazing to see. I guess all of that to say, we didn't come to a firm decision saying we need to medicate, we need to get her on some medication. We were really at a point where we were like, we don't know what to do and this could work, so we're going to try it. So we went into it cautiously and found out that it's had a benefit. I will say that medication doesn't work for everybody, which actually leads me into the next subject, and that is my own experience with ADHD medication. I have not found something that really works for me yet. In high school, back in grade school, I had a negative experience with ADHD medication. I was on Adderall, which is a stimulant. Oftentimes that does work very well for ADHDers. And my experience with ADHD medication was that, yes, the medication dramatically affected my ability to focus, so I could focus like nobody's business. However, because it's a stimulant, the negative side effect of stimulants is oftentimes there's a crash afterwards. The crash for me meant I was almost in a zombified state. So at that time I was discovering my love and ability for writing music. When I was crashing at the end of a school day, I couldn't write. I couldn't get creative. The artistic abilities within me that I so cherished and loved to tap into on a regular basis, I just couldn't. I didn't have the brain capacity to do that. It also eliminated my appetite, so I wasn't eating as much. So my experience there was very negative. In fact, I remember being in driver's ed at the end of my school day so I'm getting behind the wheel of a car coming down off of the Adderall, and I remember almost running a stop sign because I just zoned. My instructor was like, that happens again, I'm gonna fail you. So my experience there was not good. And that kind of became how I viewed ADHD medication for years, up until, recently. I didn't want anything to do with it. I wanted to stay away from it, and I really adopted that mindset of all ADHD medication is terrible. And it's just not the case. There's a difference between medicating your child because you need a break. That's selfish. When you are giving your child a pill to pop because you can't handle the stress, that is not to the benefit of your child. That is because you can't deal with it, and that is pure selfishness. So I'm sorry if that strikes a chord with anyone, but that's just the way it is. The goal with ADHD medication is to give your child leverage so that they can function to the peak of their ability. It's giving them a tool so that they can use the gifts that they've been given. ADHD can be a gift if harnessed. Fast forward now into adulthood. A couple years back, I tried some medications again and had the opposite experience. I can't say it was a good experience, but I didn't have any results. I think I tried 3 different medications, all at various doses, and had no results at all. That was interesting. I'm in the process of right now of trying to find a good counselor, someone who can help with both, in counseling me as an adult with ADHD, and the medication side of things, and coupling the two together, which really is what should be happening. To my detriment, I have not pursued that up to this point. And it's had a dramatic impact. It's had a negative impact on some of the relationships in my life. In the relationship with my wife, it's put a strain on that. I want to restate, if you are using medication as a crutch to make your child manageable, it's not the right route. You're not taking the right route. You need to be coming at it from the standpoint of, I'm trying to find something, a tool that my child can use to harness the power of their brain, not to drug them. I think I heard it said once in a recent YouTube video I watched that just made me mad, that by giving your child ADHD medication, you're really just turning them into a crackhead. If you're that person who is just giving your child pills to pop to chill them out or put them in a zombified state just so you can do what you want, then sure, I guess that would be the correct way to state it, is that you're crackheading your child because you can't deal with it. But there are others who are genuinely trying to find something that will be valuable to their child. And that's where we're at. So with that said, I want to find out from you, what's been your experience with ADHD medication? What's your opinion on ADHD medication? I would love to hear all of the above, positive, negative. I want to hear it. This is where we grow together. So let's jump on it. Jump on it. Jump on it. Jump on it. And let's start some conversation. I appreciate you guys. And I look forward to reconnecting with you very soon. Deuces.